Wow. Hello, everyone, and welcome to a special edition of Keenan Concourse Convos. I can tell you guys are probably wondering and thinking, this doesn't look like Keenan Stadium, and you'd be right. It's the Smith Center. Yeah, the Dean Dome. We are talking Carolina basketball. It is almost upon us, and for some of you probably thinking, thank God. Uh, Especially with about as bad as this football season has been. But Zach and I are still soldiering through this Carolina football season, and we hope you do too. Don't give up on the heels. As Mitch Mason says, keep swinging. But today we'd be remiss if we didn't take some time to give our rundown, our preview of this year's edition of Carolina basketball. And there is so much to cover. North Carolina enters 2025, 2026 with much to prove in year five of head coach Hubert Davis's tenure at the helm of his alma mater. The Tar Heels are coming off a disappointing, I know most of you don't need me to remind you of that, but a disappointing campaign from the previous year with a 23 and 14 finish, 13 and 7 in the ACC, and first round exit after the play-in rounds. Yeah, the Tar Heels were in the play-in rounds. I know that's hard to even think about, but a disappointing loss to Ole Miss to culminate. To put us out of our misery, 71-64 um, lost to Chris Beard's Rebels, and and then the revolving door of graduation and the transfer portal commenced. Lots of departures, mass exodus, of course. R.J. Davis, who will a fan favorite and one of the true Carolina greats, departed, and leaves a gaping hole. We also lost Jalen Withers. Ty Claude's eligibility came to an end as well. And then Elliot Cadeau, Ian Jackson, Vin Allen Lubin, Jalen Washington, and Cade Tyson all transferred to other programs. And Drake Powell went to the NBA. Hubert and new general manager Jim Tanner and the rest of the coaching staff, it was their time to put a new team together. And the prognosticators now have the Tar Heels ranked preseason number 25 in the AP poll to start the year. And ACC Media Day came and gone, and the Tar Heels are projected to end up in third place behind Duke and Louisville. The Tar Heels welcome 10 new players. Zach, that has to be some sort of record. Uh, Here's the list. Transfers, Kyan Evans, uh, a junior combo guard from Colorado State, Jonathan Powell, a sophomore wing from West Virginia, Henry Visar, a junior center from Arizona, Jaron Stevenson, a junior forward from Alabama, and Ivan Medalikovic, a sophomore center from High Point. UNC also added a strong freshman class headlined by five-star recruit and commitment. He's on campus now, thank the Lord. Caleb Wilson, a 6'10 forward, super athletic, super confident, really seems to be a good teammate as well. And I think Caleb will fit in great and um, really surprise a lot of people at what all he can do, his versatility, his skill set, and enjoy him while you can because he'll be moving on to the next level here before too long. And then we added sharpshooting combo guard Derek Dixon, and another athletic guard in Isaiah Dennis. Carolina brought in Luka Bogovac, a wing from Montenegro, who is classified as a junior. He's still awaiting word regarding his eligibility from the NCAA. We know how they like to drag their feet, but Inside Carolina reported, Sherrell McMillan from Inside Carolina reported that UNC expects him to get cleared. So that's a positive thing, and he will add a really solid shooter, an older presence who's used to playing in the professional ranks and will be a huge asset for the Tar Heels this coming season, pending his eligibility uh, is cleared and he's good to go. Zach, do you have any thoughts? I know I just named a bunch of guys. I mean, when's the last time you've seen that much change on a roster? Um,
Yeah, it's a lot. I mean, it's how college sports are, unfortunately, and I have to confess I really hate it. The thing that makes college sports so great, and especially not living in major cities. I think major cities still prefer professional sports, but college sports, it was about that feel of getting to know a player, as a student, going to class with that player, living and breathing and eating in the dining hall and seeing that player around, and either as a fan before or after graduation, getting to know them, getting to hear their story, getting to see them develop. You fall in love with these players, and now they just come in and give you what you want and leave. And it just is, an indictment on our current culture. I think everything is always about immediacy and what have you done for me now? So we talked about that with the football team, 70 new players, and now the basketball team's got 10 new players. I think basketball is a little easier to get to know the players more quickly and intimately because there's less of them, and a lot of them have a story that's already been told. I think the Carolina Insider podcast has done a great job of doing the spotlight interviews each week of a new player, which have been super cool to get to know the guys. And I know the social media team's been pumping out videos to get to know them and get to see some things, whether it's practice or their beach trip where they had a lot of fun. And Seth Trimble had the camera for most of the time. That's been fun, but yeah, I mean, it'll be interesting. One thing I was going to say, sort of in your intro, was just um, I had almost forgotten until I was doing some research about the painful last two losses that we had to end the season last year. I'm just thankful that we had the Ole Miss game. That was a really painful loss there to Duke in the ACC tournament with the whole lane violation. And I just also wanted to say, like, I'm thankful for those players. They fought through a lot of adversity, including size. They were all very short and had to be scrappy. And um, Withers certainly helped us in a lot of ways. We would not have had the run that we had to get into the tournament last year had it not been for him. So, I mean, he seriously almost single handedly led us into the tournament because of being a guy that we could depend on. He all of a sudden started hitting shots, rebounding, playing aggressively those down the stretch, and so thankful for that. But yeah, last season was tough, and I think last season put Hubert on the hot seat a bit. Maybe we can talk about that in a minute. But I also wanted to run through, just in case people weren't aware of where these guys ended up, because you may see some of these guys that left our program, and it'll be a little, let's say, spicy when we do see them. So Withers graduated, Claude graduated, as Ben said, but Lubin, I think that's the headliner. Lubin decided he'd like to go where NC State red. Unfortunately, after I feel like we let him play a lot, he was a main guy for us, and so interesting choice.
Zach, did you hear NC State's library burned down?
Oh gosh, where is this going?
Both books were destroyed and one of them hadn't been colored in yet.
That's awful. I have heard that one before. That is hilarious. Hilarious. But Lubin, is going to state, and of course, state lucked out, and they don't have to play with the new scheduling format, which is another thing that's very dumb now about college sports. State does not have to play in the Smith Center, so he really lucked out that 22,000 people aren't going to boo him like crazy. And then Tyson went to Minnesota, where he put up 28 points in their scrimmage the other night. When you know he hit like every shot.
My dad took us to the LaSalle game last year where he went off for 23 points.
Yeah,
Uh, that was some fool's gold, false hope where we never saw that again.
yeah. I mean, I bet he puts up numbers this year, and people are already blaming Hubert. And it's like Hubert didn't tell him to go out and shoot and hit the backboard multiple times. Like
Yeah. Hubert brought him in to
yeah,
knock down shots
yeah.
and um, yeah, I was listening to Andrew Jones' podcast the other day or last night when I was doing dishes, and he quoted Hubert. He said Hubert said, "I don't want shooters, I want makers." And uh, and last season, Cade was not a maker;
No,
he was
no.
a misser.
Yeah, yeah. He was a liability on the court.
Boy,
Um,
he's about as athletic as some of these statues are around the DC area I live in. Or I should say, as athletic as me, but I don't want to.
as athletic as you. You can move, you can ball.
And yeah, and you talked about beach trips earlier. No one wanted to see my beach trip on the socials this year. I guess me walking around out there in a swimsuit would be too much for the interwebs.
I had at our small group the other night, we had a guest at our small group, and they were telling us their story afterwards a little bit, which was super cool. And was talking about being a D2 college athlete. And Hannah and I were talking about our own story and our own experience in sports. And this person looked at us and was like, hmm? And I was like, come on, we were athletic back in the day. Like, I know I put on some weight, but I put on that dad weight. But still, I can go out there and hoop. I can ball. I can run. Ask Nick Morris about running slant passes.
I'm
So
not even a dad yet. I'm just getting prepared.
I was like, dang, you know, not all of us can be uh small and run fast.
Yeah.
It takes a whole team. That's why RC Sproul talked about the beauty of sports, and is particularly football. You got to play a lot of positions to come together as one body, just like the church. So, there
Amen.
you go.
Amen.
And then, yeah, Washington went to Vanderbilt. Cadeau went to Michigan. Thank goodness. Most importantly, that his mom is gone from
Speaking of Kado, I was studying Arabic yesterday, and the word for gift, I believe, that I was taught yesterday was Kado, and I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure it was Kado. And I was sitting there thinking, that's not the case. My man likes to give gifts, and not to his team,
Yeah, yeah,
to
yeah.
the other
He
team.
like he likes to gift the ball to the other team. So
Oh, yeah, as my brother Samuel and I used to say growing up, that guy's turnover man.
Yeah, yeah. And then lastly, this is funny. So Ian Jackson went to St. John's to play for Petrino, and in their scrimmage the other night, did you see the quote?
You know,
Or yeah, I said Petrino. It's too
yeah,
early in the morning.
Petrino's trying to
Petrino, yeah,
keep that
Petrino. We don't want
up.
to bring up Bobby Petrino. That's bad.
No, God.
Although Rick Pitino, Bobby Petrino,
R.I.P. to his motorcycle.
you might you might put him in the same category. Honestly, sorry that it's too early in the morning. I was still thinking football.
Um,
Rick Pitino. Um,
his
he's
Colonel
playing for
Sanders.
Rick Pitino at St. John's. Did you see his quote the other night after their scrimmage?
I've heard a couple of quotes, but go ahead.
Yeah, yeah. He basically he asked why Jackson stayed on the bench. The Jackson and one other player stayed on the bench for the entire second half. So he basically benched Jackson the entire second half. And Rick Pitino said, because we were trying to win.
Yeah, yeah.
Hilarious.
I remember Ian said that he didn't get to showcase all of his talent, all of his ability, everything. He couldn't showcase what he could do. And I'm sitting there thinking, do you really think Carolina's going to let you play ISO ball for 40 minutes a game? No, we're a team. That's what our program's built on, is playing as a team.
Yeah.
Hard, smart together, as Coach Smith said.
Yeah.
And when you play one-on-one ISO ball, you're not involving others and you're not facilitating ball movement and setting up your teammates for good shots. It's just selfish basketball. And
Yeah.
uh, I look at it as addition by subtraction. And so
Hilarious. Well, yeah, and then lastly, I just wanted to touch on RJ. I mean, it's unfortunate. I think RJ Davis had just such an incredible career, and had he won a national championship, I think that people would have put him in the category of the likes of Joel Berry. Recent basketball. I'm thinking recent basketball. Joel Berry. I mean, I think people still put Marcus Page up on a pedestal, even though he didn't unfortunately win one. Should have, but those guys. RJ Davis was that dude, and in order to be that guy, people want to say, well, he didn't have as good of a season last year. He didn't have his big man. Well, yeah, that's just called team basketball. Like the best guards are ones that have good big men, and the best big men are ones that have good guards. It's like the argument about Kobe and Shaq, and can Kobe win without Shaq? And Shaq, like, who cares? The whole point is that they played together, right? And that was really unfortunate for RJ that he didn't get that. And honestly, it makes me quite sad because if RJ Davis was on the team this year, we would win the net. We were going to win the natty. Like, I'm sorry, but an RJ Davis level point guard on this team this year with these big men would be an unbelievable force to
I think
play.
one can make an argument that he's in the same discussion as those two. I mean, he helped lead Carolina to a national championship game appearance.
Mm-hmm.
We fell apart in the second half against Kansas, but still made it to the national championship. And his senior year, before his super senior year, he was a first team All-American. And I mean, he's going to get his jersey in the rafters.
Yeah, yeah,
And
and should. I mean,
yeah,
he really carried the team last year, and could have easily, as an older guy, been like, I'm done with this. I'm done. And he fought hard, fought to the end. So thankful for him. Some of the newcomers, I don't want to take too much time and go through all of them, but just spotlight a couple. Excited to see cousin Evans. um, uh, he's pretty scrappy. His interview was good on the Carolina Insider, and he's got a lot of confidence. He's a great shooter. It'll be interesting to see how we do with a point guard that really
ask
likes to
Memphis.
score. You know,
Ask Memphis.
yeah,
He
yeah,
lit them up.
yeah. He's a great shooter. Um, Henry Vesar was very talented for Arizona last year. He's very aggressive. I mean, that's what I love about him. His stats, if you look at his stats and points per game and all that, might not be as high as you wish. I think it was like 9 points per game or something, but he's aggressive. He can shoot. He can step out and shoot if he needs to, but he really attacks the rim. I mean, watching a couple of their games as I was cheering on Caleb Love at the end of the season, I mean, he was very aggressive, and Love actually told him when he was trying to decide to go into the transfer portal that he should come to Carolina. So that was a pretty cool story. Um, I'm excited to see Jonathan Powell. He, I think, set the record for most 3-pointers by a freshman last year in the Big 12. He apparently is very competitive in practice. He has already ripped multiple practice jerseys. I don't know if you've heard that story, but
I
he
heard
talked about
that.
that a little bit, and his competitiveness. So, that's good. We need a trash talker. We need somebody. I don't want any technical fouls, so he's got to learn how to control it. But we need somebody that is going to go to battle if one of his teammates gets knocked to the floor or somebody throws some hands on the court. Right? We need to go to battle. A lot of guys that I think will contribute. And then Caleb Wilson, very excited about Caleb Wilson. I don't want to get too excited because he is a freshman, and the way that Carolina plays basketball with its freshmen are different than the way that Duke plays basketball with their freshmen. Duke is going to highlight their freshmen, and I don't really expect Caleb Wilson to be in the spotlight right away. I mean, I definitely think he will be a star.
I do.
Eh, yeah, it's tough to say. It's tough to say what Hubert's going to do, but I also want people to
He
understand
started from day one.
Caleb Wilson's not a he's not a scorer, but Caleb Wilson is very athletic. He's a great rebounder and he's a great defender. And he even talked about that like in the McDonald's All American game, for example, there were so many other people on the court that wanted the ball and wanted to score, and he talked about wanting to do something that really separated himself. And so he really takes pride in his defense at the rim. He's a good shot blocker. He's aggressive getting rebounds. And so in that McDonald's All American game, he did score. He did a great job. But if you go watch those highlights, he really stood out by his defense. And I thought it was a cool perspective to hear him say he knew that was going to be the case. So he wanted to be unique and really take pride in another aspect of his game. And so I don't think Caleb, I mean, maybe he'll shock us, but from what I've heard from his own mouth and from other people, I do not expect him to be putting up 18 points a game and having 14 rebounds, right? He's going to be the guy that's going to give us hopefully a solid 12, 13 points. You know,
That'd be huge.
yeah, 8 rebounds and 3 block shots, right? And I will take that because we need a rim protector and somebody that's going to be aggressive. And I also appreciate that he really wants to jam the ball on somebody's face every time he touches it. Like you have to have somebody like that. And I loved his quote where he said, if he misses a shot, it was after the scrimmage, he had missed a dunk in the blue white game, just being overly aggressive at the rim and out of control. And he said, whenever he misses a shot, he has enough confidence to say, well, the rim moved. And a lot of I saw some Duke fans and some NC State fans talking trash on Twitter. Haha, he missed a dunk. And well, this kid's going to get a rude awakening when, he plays us and whatever. And I was like, no, that's good. Like he clearly is saying it not from a perspective of actually being cocky. He's just trying to get the right mentality of confidence in the game. I thought it was pretty cool. And why is NC State talking so much? I mean, yes, you got a good coach, but let's see how it goes first before you do all that talking. And finally, the last player I want to highlight is just Luka. I'm just very, very, very concerned about him not being cleared yet. This is something that's been going on for months, and they've been saying for a long time that it's imminent. We have a scrimmage this Friday, which we can sort of talk about here at the end. But I want to see him play. And by all accounts, he's incredibly smooth with the ball. He's incredibly polished. He played professionally overseas, and that's why he has to get cleared from the NCAA. But it sounds like he is a real difference maker. I mean, he probably will be the best player on this team besides Trimble for Trimble's leadership and defensive skills. And Trimble can get to the rim, but in terms of complete basketball, sort of polished facilitator type, can score, can pass, those sorts of things. Luka is probably going to be one of our top players. And so we have to get him cleared. I mean, this team will be totally different, I think, if he is able to play. So that's very concerning to me at the group.
Mm. Pending his clearing by the NCAA, what if and when he gets cleared, I think he's going to be such an asset to our team offensively. Um, I don't know how much he's going to contribute on the defensive end, uh, but I won't be surprised if he's our leading scorer this season.
Mm-hmm.
I think that dude loves to shoot. I think he can shoot. I think he's a maker, not a misser. I think he's a maker. I think he can hit the deep long range shots. I think he can hit mid range. I think he can score in a bunch of different ways, and I think he'll really, really provide the spark that we need on the offensive end. And just being an older player who's competed against grown men uh, at the professional level. I know it's not the NBA, but the Adriatic League. I mean, those Europeans are super skilled, and that's still a high level of basketball. and I think he's going to bring some really good experience to this team and maturity as well. So I'm looking forward to seeing him play. Um, and God willing, we will. I want to move into just kind of a breakdown of the numbers just to kind of
Mm.
show where we really need to improve as a team. Uh, Offensively, scoring offense last year, we are 28th nationally. That's not bad. That's not our championship teams. That's level, but that's our Final Four teams level. That's 80.7 points per game is still really good, but would love to see us build on that. Obviously, that's not bad, but when you're allowing 74.7 points per game, that's when you know, that's when you need more points. But defensively, that's where we need to really improve. And just there were so many times last year where we just gave up good shots to the other team that we shouldn't be giving up. And whether it's a lapse or a missed assignment and guys just losing their man. I haven't seen us defend with the intensity that we did um, 9 years ago, or even I should say even tw 2018, 2019. I mean, we were still um, putting the clamps on people at times, and we haven't done that. Scoring defense, we were 256th nationally. I mean, that's terrible. And then we need to become a better passing team as well. We averaged just under 15 assists to be 94th nationally, and I think had too much ISO ball last year and too many guys trying to play one-on-one. So we really need to distribute the ball better and facilitate offense, team offense better this year. So I'm interested in seeing how Kyan Evans does that. I think honestly, Henry Visar might be our best passer, which is wild to think about. Our center. That might sound like a wild thing to say, but some of these European big guys, it's amazing how well they can pass the ball. And our assist to turnover ratio, 1.38, that's 60th nationally. We got to improve on these things, taking care of the ball, valuing the basketball, and being able to involve one another and facilitate offense. I know I keep saying that. Zach, do you have any thoughts on those last few stats?
Yeah, yeah. I was just sitting here thinking about our good friend. I've already mentioned our good friend Nick Morris, more knowledgeable than me for sure in basketball, but he has given us a suggestion to talk about more scheme. So hope to do that in our podcast moving forward. And I was thinking about what you were saying, just scheme of basketball, and this is still the college level. Like I was watching that really awesome NBA game last night. I mean, incredible game, multiple overtimes between the Rockets and the Thunder. And it's different, right? And every single player on the court is a superstar and really can play ISO ball. But this is college. It's still amateur, but not really anymore. But, talent wise. And the best way to win in college is to be a team and to rotate the ball and rotate quickly, right? Rotate, get the defense off balance, whether they're playing man or especially zone, but rotate the basketball quickly, right? Go inside out. You always go inside to get close to the rim and take the shot if it's there, or if you're Tyler Hansbrough, even when it's not there, and dish it back out. I mean, last year we settled not only for the ISO ball trying to go to the rim, which I feel like we should have done more, but a lot of times we settled for an outside shot that wasn't open because we didn't even try to go inside. You have to go inside to collapse the middle, right? When people come down to help side defense, help defense in the middle, and then dish back out for open shots. And you have to go quick, right? You can't just like throw it in, think about what you're doing, throw back out because they'll readjust. You gotta go in and out around the perimeter, right? And really rotate the basketball. So I'm
Moving
excited.
without the ball, moving without the
Yeah,
ball.
moving without the ball is a huge problem. And honestly, that's
Too
coaching.
much standing and watching last
That's
year.
been a huge problem for Hubert coaching the teams. Even the 2022 team would stand, and not move without the ball. And thankfully, they had some shooters that could still knock down shots. But you
But you
like,
can't rely on that.
yeah,
You got to be able to get in position and help others get in position to find the best shot possible.
yes, and you need to do that so the defense gets tired. Even if you don't touch the ball,
Yeah.
moving without the ball makes the defense tired, tougher to defend, drawing fouls, right?
And it affects their ability when
That's
they
right.
have the ball to take good quality shots because when you're tired, you're not going to be thinking clearly. And so that's another thing. And I just really want to play good, smart basketball. And
Yeah.
I just haven't seen that in the last few.
The two things that I'm most excited about on the offensive end are well, actually, I guess one of them counts for defense as well. But assists, like you said, rotating the ball, having enough people on the floor that actually do have the ability to score and pass and move it around, don't turn it over. Um, and then the other thing is rebounding. I am I am definitely excited for
I've
rebounding
got
on
a
the
stat
defensive
for
end.
that.
What?
I've got a couple stats for that.
Okay, okay. Well, let me say real quick. I'm excited for defense because, or sorry, I'm excited for rebounding, defensive side as well, just crashing the boards, but also the offensive side. We just didn't have that many second chances last year. We had nobody crashing the boards. I mean, we might have sent one person to the boards each time we shot the ball last year, and just we didn't have any size, but we also just didn't have anybody going to get rebounds. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. So obviously, an indictment on our lack of size, but rebound's a desire thing too. I mean, we're going to talk about him later, but Seth Trimble, 6'3", was one of our best rebounders. He averaged 5 rebounds a game. And so if he can do that, why can't guys who are 6'8", 6'9", get their butt in there and box someone out? And then two, like I wonder if that was another reason why we weren't crashing the boards, if that was an indictment on our defense, not wanting to get beat, and that so trying to cover for our inability to defend well, because I haven't really seen us really play strong on the ball team defense in recent years. But rebounding wise, we were 105th nationally at 36.6 points per game. You're not going to be able to compete uh, night in and night out against elite teams with that. And when you're getting less than 10 offensive rebounds a game, I think you said it. You're not going to give yourself second chance opportunities. And that's what you need. You need second chance opportunities. I mean, a lot of the top teams last year, they gave themselves second chance opportunities. Look at Florida, look at Duke. And a lot of that was because probably their size and desire to really commit to rebounding the basketball.
And quite frankly, it's unacceptable for Tar Heel basketball. I mean, it's unacceptable, and I'm glad this team's makeup is more of our traditional way because it is quite unacceptable to not be a top five rebounding team, if not number one in the country. I mean, how many games did Roy Williams win just simply because we out rebounded the other team by like 20 rebounds? Maybe.
Yeah, I know we want to say this looks like a more traditional team. They still have to go out and show it though. They
Yeah,
still
yeah, that's
have
right.
to,
No, no, the makeup, the roster makeup.
yeah, yeah. They look bigger, they look taller, but they still have to go out and prove that they can rebound,
Yeah.
and they're gonna have to fight out there. Um, three-point defensive field goal percentage, we were 35.5%. That's what we allowed. That's 85th nationally. I mean, guard the dang three, man. I know that's something we've been saying for years. Um, we
We
shot
don't do that in Carolina.
we shot over 35%. from three last year, which is really, really good. But when you're allowing other teams to do that, I mean, you look at 14 losses and how many, uh, like how many three-pointers do we give up that really, hurt us? And that's an area we really need to commit to. But uh, I think that starts with really, committing to playing good defense, fundamentals, guarding your man, knowing when and when not to switch. Because sometimes when you switch, you get lost in the pick, and your guy gets space for the open shot, and that's a problem that has hurt us. And then, yeah, I haven't really seen um, good quality defense to where guys can like not we lose our man way too often.
Yes.
I mean, this is ACC basketball. This is Carolina basketball. I mean, this shouldn't be happening. And so they know what they're supposed to do. They know their assignments. So really want to see our ability to improve to at defending the three and just playing good overall, one-on-one and team defense.
Hmm.
Um, we foul way too much. We foul
Mhm.
way too much. Yeah. That's another thing, defending without fouling. That's what the best teams do. Look at Houston. I mean, that those guys, they lock you down, man. And they weren't fouling.
Yeah.
So it is possible to play great defense and not foul and put other teams at the free throw line. We were 191 nationally in fouls committed per game at 16.9. I mean, good grief. Um, and then uh, going back to good defense, we forced less than 11 turnovers a game, and that's another thing. When you force turnovers, you give yourself opportunities to score.
Hmm.
Yeah, we just defense and rebounding that we need to commit to those things. But I will say this, we committed a fair amount of turnovers, almost 11 a game, right at 10.7. That's 77th nationally. So valuing the basketball, taking care of it, being smart with the ball, those are some things. And I know we just mentioned him, but I want to transition. Before we transition, did you have anything you'd like to add?
No, I'm looking at your numbers here that you had written out, and I don't think you mentioned this, but that 10.9 turnovers forced per game, I just wanted to emphasize to everyone listening, was 271st in the country.
Brutal.
So that's bad, and in a lot of ways similar to our current football team. The defense is being asked a lot, and they're not really forcing turnovers. So forcing turnovers is so important in sports, right? Forcing the other team into high pressure situations. And to what you said about scoring, forcing a turnover gives you an opportunity to score because it's easier to score, right? Yes, we can run half court sets all day. That's more difficult to score that way because the team has time to set up. But if you get a turnover and you're on a break, a 2-on-1 break, 3-on-2 break, right? These things allow you to score more easily, get to the rim, get fouled, get the crowd into it, right? There's,
Ask Greg Paulus.
yeah, 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 yeah. But shoot, ask Tony Bennett, about the importance of playing defensive
That's
basketball.
what he built his program on.
Yeah.
And
And
people hate
and
it.
I don't want that. To be clear, that's awful way of playing basketball. I'd like to be good at offense too. But you need to play good team basketball like you said. And when you were talking about leaving guys open, communication. Communication is so key, and I think sometimes basketball is very challenging because unlike some other sports where basketball there's so much scoring that you have to be willing to this kind of sounds weird but maybe sometimes let the other team get what they get to make sure that they don't get something further down the line, whereas that doesn't really work for football or some other sports. But like in basketball sometimes I think we switch because we're so concerned about somebody getting to the rim. But hey, they get to the rim, they beat their guy, you give up a layup, one, they might miss it because you got enough bodies in there. But two, I'd rather give up the layup than all of a sudden everybody crashes and you leave a guy wide open for three, you know? So sometimes I think we over switch, and
Hmm.
it's very challenging to know when's the right time, when you have your help defense or not. But switching, I think the other thing too that we do often, or that we've been doing often, is not only do we switch, but it's like the wrong guy switches. It's like a guy who's out of position to make the switches, and that also leads to scores. It doesn't do any good if you switch and the guy's not in position to stay in front of the guy's face. So need to just have good communication, better communication.
Absolutely. You know, we of course we welcome back uh, big men like James Brown, who I think is much improved. I believe I've heard he put on 25 pounds of muscle. He looks more comfortable. He looks like he's really they've been working with him and developing him. I think he's a 4-year project sort of guy, but I think he gets that. Seems like a great teammate, and just I think he's gonna really be someone who they can put in to be physical, get some rebounds, maybe even block a shot or get a couple garbage baskets. Spell some guys, give Vsar a break. But I think Zayden High is probably our number three big man behind Visar and Caleb Wilson. Uh, Zayden's coming back after a year suspension from school, but it looks like he's been working hard, and I think he brings a lot of energy and some skill to the team, and uh, hopefully he's learned from the discipline and time away, and hopefully he's grown not only as a basketball player but as a person. That's more important. Um, and we're going to need his energy and athleticism and his size to be able to add depth. But hopefully, Zayden High and James Brown can be supporting pieces to add depth. Um, um, in the post
Mm-hmm.
for Visar and Wilson. I think you're going to see Caleb kind of float around with his athleticism, but I think he wants to prove that he's not just some athletic forward, but that he can play in the post as well. But I think you'll see him on the perimeter too. Um, but more than anything, in terms of welcoming guys back, Seth Trimble, the captain, this is his team. He may not lead the team in scoring this year. He may not be the best player, but I think he's definitely the unquestioned leader. And he's improved every single season. And he's coming off a strong junior campaign where he averaged 11.6 points, 5 rebounds, 1.4 steals, 1.3 assists per game. Uh, um, oh, we lost Zach. It looks like he's trying to come back. There he is. There he is.
Dude, man.
We were
I live
talking.
out in the country now. I lost my internet connection. So I got the hotspot going here. I just need to hook it up to the hotspot next time.
You're good. You're
I
good.
heard you when you were talking about Wilson floating around.
Yeah, but I've been talking about Seth Trimble,
Oh,
and
yes.
one of the most improved players in the ACC last season, one of the top athletes overall in the country, regardless of position, was one of our best rebounders last season. We already talked about that. Excellent, excellent on the ball defender, can guard 1 through 3 effectively. Um, and I hope he continues to improve his shot, his passing, and ball handling, because I think he's going to those are areas where he's going to have to contribute this year. But I was talking about how um, while you were off the grid, uh, I was talking about how he may not be our best player, but he is definitely the captain, the unquestioned leader of this team, and he's basically an endangered species. I mean, when do you see guys come in and stay 4 years? I know he even entered the portal, but they were able to bring him back. It's just he's the first and 4-year guy that Hubert's had, and so really, uh, he's going to be we're going to depend on him a lot this year.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. He shout out to another friend, one of our other friends, Tyler Tomasic, has made a nice little friendship with Seth. Sees him around town, always giving him a wave, high five at the basketball game. You know, he's always calling his name. He turns around, waves to us. So Seth's a good guy, and yeah, that's what we need from him, almost more than his basketball, right? Like almost more than his basketball skill. We need a guy that is a good, perimeter defender and like locks down the leadership role and is just an anchor, a solid anchor for the team.
Yeah.
And everything else is icing on the cake. And I want to see in terms of for his basketball this year, I want to see him continue to grow in going to the rim. I definitely think he made a good jump last year, and I want to see another jump go to the rim. He hits some outside shots too, but I love when he goes to the rim and flies to the air, does a spin move, lays it up, dunks it on somebody, right? Go to the rim, facilitate in that way, just be aggressive, and then play really, really, really good defense. That's what we need from him to set the tone and be a leader on the team.
You made a great point. Getting to the rim. That is, no one can slash, no one can drive and penetrate and get to the basket like him on our team. And so that's what we need him to do to attack the rim because we've got plenty of other shooters. Luca, God willing, he gets cleared, and I think he will. But Luca, Kyan Evans, Derek Dixon. Some people say he's the best shooter in the incoming freshman class. I think we're going to see him contribute immediately,
Mm.
and I think I mean, he's playing in one of the top conferences, and nationally, they played a national schedule. I heard Andrew Jones saying that he played against DeMatha, which is one of the top programs. Um,
But he's been injured, right? There's concern about him because I feel like
That's
he's.
that's Isaiah Dennis.
Oh, okay, other guy.
Yeah, I think Isaiah Dennis will eventually contribute, and we might see him at different times this year. I think he's had Inside Carolina reported he had a finger injury, which
Mm.
uh, I think that's slowed him down at times, even while he was a senior in high school. But it's been a persisting problem for him. Uh, but I'm really looking forward to seeing Derek Dixon play,
Mm.
and I think he'll be a big time contributor coming off the bench, and I think he'll be able to. Uh, uh, I don't think he's afraid or that the moment's too big for him at all. I think because he's played at a really high level at high school and then on the EYBL circuit, which a lot of these kids do. But the things that I hear about him, he brings in maturity, confidence, and just high basketball IQ and really understands the game. And he's comfortable in his role. He seems like a real team guy
Mm.
and not uh, going after individual accomplishments, but wants to see the team do well, which is huge. That's what we need. And I'm really looking forward to seeing him get on the court. Kyan Evans, that's another guy who can shoot. And so I think even Vsar can step out and shoot, and I think Caleb Wilson can too, but we need those guys crashing the boards, and we need to be able to depend on them to score around the basket as well. But I really think that this team could be, with their versatility and skill set, I really think that we could be strong offensively this year.
We said, "You strong?" I said, "We strong." Then we strong then.
Yeah. Shout out Jameis Winston.
Yes, I just wanted to say I think it's not only are we big in the front court, but in the back court, right? Like all of our guards are 6'4" taller, except for Evans, who's still 6'2", which RJ Davis was pushing 6 feet, right? Marcus Page was 6 foot. Joel Berry, I think, might have been 6'1", right? So 6'2" for the point guard, and everybody else 6'4". I mean, this is good.
Yeah.
There gonna be some matchup challenges for sure.
Trimble may not be quite there, but his athleticism allows him to match up with just about anybody.
Yeah.
uh, 1 through 3. So I think you're right. I think we should be able, and that was such a problem last year when you have guys who are 6 feet 5'11" out there in your backcourt, and it's just so hard to match up against, especially when Duke's bringing out 6'5", 6'5", um, across the board in their backcourt. I mean, that's just
It's funny, all the pieces that we have now in this team, I think will be much better than last year's team, even with the things that we're saying that we need to see. But man, what I would give for this team to just have an RJ Davis and a Leaky Black. Yeah, like yeah, to have Leaky be 6'8" and be able to play defense was man. We'll see. Maybe we'll get one of those on the team that we don't know about yet. Um,
yeah. And I think you were talking about earlier. Um, in the post, you're talking about how aggressive Visar is. I think he's going to average more than 9 points a game. I think he'll average double digits. I don't think like 15 or 20, but it won't surprise me if he averages 10 to 12 a game, maybe 13.
Visar?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, and then I think we'll see his skill set as a passer as well. Like I was talking about, I don't expect us to have anyone on the team scoring 20 points a game. I think it's going to be pretty balanced across the board. But I think night in, night out, we have guys who are capable of going off. And
Mhm.
and I mean, you saw Seth Trimble demonstrate that against Memphis in the exhibition game last year, where I think he scored 33. I think Luca can light it up. I think Kyan Evans, ask Memphis. He can light it up. And I know I say keep asking Memphis, so we need maybe we need Memphis on the schedule. Hubert, Bubba, you
We
know,
did last year twice.
oh man,
Then we played we had the scrimmage and we ended up playing him again, right? During the season.
I think we did, or did we miss it?
Did we miss it because it was one of the tournaments and we ended up
Yep.
not? I can't remember. Last
I,
year was washed out. Let's go to
that's
this.
one I want to forget. But I think we're gonna just really see some much improved basketball, at least on the offensive end. Defensive end and rebounding still remains to be seen, but I want to be optimistic about rebounding. I think overall team defense will be better. It's just that I think this group, I think chemistry, they seem to really like one another, and I think that's gonna translate to how they play together out on the basketball court. Zach, I want to transition to our top five moments, and these are games that, at least for me, my top five moments, games that I've actually been to in person. So,
Yes, I did that as well. There's way too many watching on TV. So top
uh,
five that you had to attend.
yes, yes, I'm glad that's our criteria. So, would you like to start us off at number five for you?
Sure, I can, and we can go quick here. I know we're pushing the the clock, but I'm gonna go with number five, Carolina, Louisville, I should have said, 2015. So January
Cool.
2015, when Marcus Page hits the layup at the end of the game to win
Oh,
this little like
great game.
smooth glide to the basket layup floater, crowd going nuts. That was electric.
They had a great team. They had Russ Smith. They had some studs, man.
Yeah. Was that the Montrez, uh,
Harold.
whatever? Yeah, Montrez Harrell. Yeah, I don't know, remember. But anyways, that was awesome. That game was awesome. Ranked matchup, good game. Let's go.
I'll get my fifth one. Um, it was December 2013. Kentucky rolled into town. Calipari had a bunch of blue chips, including Julius Randle, and we beat Kentucky 82 to 77. I mean, no one was giving us a shot, and Page had a big day. I think he had 23 points. Um, Beautiful alley-oop play. You should go YouTube it later to Bryce. But that was such a fun game. I remember they were giving out these white Jordan shirts that were awesome. I think I got ended up getting a stain on mine. Slash, I keep growing, so I don't think I would have been able
Growing
to.
in the wrong direction.
Yeah,
That's what I
yeah,
say. People say, how you doing? I say, I keep growing just in the wrong direction.
yeah, yeah. Uh, but what's your number four?
Um, my number four, so this will be fun. UNC versus Maryland
Gosh, I hate
2015.
Maryland.
Yeah, yeah, this is why this is fun. So this is UNC versus Maryland fall or yeah, beginning of the season, big ACC Big Ten Challenge, I think.
I was at that game. Rashid
2015.
Philomon had.
And Rashid Suleiman went to decided to go to Maryland. Marcus Page returned back from injury. Maryland was number 2 in the country, and we were
Oh
number
yeah.
9. We won 89-81. Every time Rashid Suleiman, every time they got the ball, the students were doing duck, duck, duck. And when Rashid Suleiman would get the ball, they would say goose and then boo really loud. That was awesome. I
Wow.
actually wasn't in the student section that game, even though that was my senior year. I was my dad had tickets that season for me to be able to go to all the games if I didn't get a ticket. So that was fun.
What a
I
guy.
was yeah, Big Lloyd. Shout out Big Lloyd. You know, we need him to come back to Chapel Hill. He's gotten a little jaded over the years. So but that game was super fun. I just remember the electricity of that entire game. Like
Oh, it
I
was.
can't tell you a single play from that game, but the entire game was just like a rabid fan base. Marcus Page being back. People hate Maryland. Maryland
Oh
hates
yeah, there is
Carolina.
no love lost. I lived in Maryland for 5 years, and yeah, don't
That
like the
was awesome.
Terrapins, don't like Maryland fans. I mean, I went to church with a lot of them, so they're wonderful people. But like the actual fans at the game, man, they were talk about
They're a nasty fan base, man. They're nasty.
verbal abuse, man.
Yeah.
Good grief, they
All right,
don't.
what's your four?
But I was gonna say, I went there to that game with my dad. I think he had a speeding ticket on the way home, but yeah, got some letters in the mail. But he's good now. Back on the street. Uh, number four for me is another game against Kentucky, my senior year. So it was December 2010. We had Harrison Barnes, one of my shout out to my former Spanish 203 classmate, Harrison Barnes. Um, man, thank you for all the times we studied together. And yeah, love Harrison, great guy. Does a lot off the court too to help people. But that was such a fun day. We beat Kentucky 75-73, and we go out. We were leaving the Smith Center, and it's snowing, so we get to play in the snow. And I think uh, I don't know if class was canceled on Monday. That didn't happen very often when I was in Chapel Hill. Some of these other schools get snow days, but that didn't happen too much for us. Um, but what a fun day that was. I mean, the Smith Center was electric. I mean, it was one of the loudest times I've ever heard it. And it's always fun beating Kentucky. People don't want to talk about it, but we've got a winning record against Kentucky. Uh, uh, Ask, yeah, go ask Steve Kirshner if you're unsure. That's UNC's SID. All right, you're number three.
My number 3 is that UNC Kentucky game from 2013. So a little more context here. Uh, a couple things at play. One, we went to the JV game ahead of the main event, and then we left that game to go back outside. We went to the JV game because we had some friends playing, but also to stay out of the rain. So that day was a Saturday. All of
Yeah.
our winter exams had just finished on Friday. So I took my last exam that Friday. All the students stayed an extra day before going home for a Christmas break. And it was a Saturday. We waited in the pouring rain slash sleet. It was freezing cold. Um,
Oh,
and I'm
yeah.
really glad they handed out the white shirts inside because we all needed to change clothes because it was just a mess. I mean, we had an umbrella, but it was just a mess. And then they did a really dumb like reordering of the line for to discourage students from getting there early, which is also so dumb. You should let the students get there early. Anyways, it worked out in the end. Yes, alley oop was amazing. You know, may have gotten away with a little bit of a push foul there when Bryce went after the ball, but either way, And then Dick Vitale with just an incredible call, hearing it after leaving the arena when he was like, "They're dancing in the aisles, they're high fiving, they're dancing on Franklin Street." That was awesome.
Oh man.
That day was cool. And fun fact, that was when Hannah and I were beginning our relationship. So we weren't official yet, but I may have kissed her anyways. So
Oh man.
yeah, the boys in the group chat, yeah, they stuck with me through some difficult times early in me and Hannah's relationship. So shout out to them. Married almost 9 years and 4 kids later. So it's all
Look
they're the
at
MV,
that.
they're the real MVPs dealing with our chaos.
Oh gosh. I'll share my number three, and this is I think they had to reschedule the game. I can't remember, but there was a ice storm throughout much of North Carolina, and the roads weren't safe, so they might have had to reschedule it. Um, and Nick Morris and I think he was the driver, so he was the one really braving the elements. Shout out to Nick. And we drove from Charlotte to Chapel Hill. This is 2017 to watch Carolina absolutely bludgeon. I mean, we paid, talk about beating someone like they stole something. We painted NC State's back porches redder than they already are. And we beat them by 51 points. They had Dennis Smith Jr. These poor NC State fans, I shouldn't say poor because whatever. Those Wolfpack fans sitting in front of us, they had to survive us talking trash about NC State for 2 hours, and we were running around dancing in the aisles, and just
NC stank.
oh man, they stunk to high heaven that day. But we had something to do with that.
All
51 points. Um, all right, you're number two.
right, my number two, super awesome. I mean, it's hilarious. A lot of our list centers around weather events, snow weather events. Number two has to be UNC Duke 2014. It started snowing like crazy, and it was snowing, and I didn't have a ticket. Hannah and I were sophomores. We didn't have a ticket. Um, and so I started watching as the snow was coming down. StubHub, back then, SeatGeek didn't exist. So if you need your tickets now, go to SeatGeek. But we were watching StubHub and the prices were falling a little bit. People were starting to sell their tickets because they didn't want to brave it in the snow. And finally, some tickets posted for like less than $100, and I snagged them. And it was like 2 hours before the game. And then all of a sudden, Coach K had decided, I don't want to travel in the snow. And they postponed the game because he didn't want to play in front of, 20,000 students. The students are going to go to the game, and he didn't want to play in that environment. And so they postponed the game to 8 days later. I remember Hannah was very upset because she thought I had wasted our money. She didn't really understand at the time how the ticket websites work. And I said, no, we just get to basically we just took somebody's tickets that could have gone 8 days from now, but now we get to go and they're going to redeem the ticket. So we went 8 days later. Carolina was down early and then came back. James Michael McAdoo had a great game. Leslie McDonald hit like a shot from the elbow to take the lead late in the second half. The place was going absolutely bananas. I remember just the animosity in the crowd. A lot of people give Carolina a hard time for being wine and cheese, but the crowd that day stood the entire time and was pissed off because Duke didn't show up 8 days earlier. And we ended up playing. Yeah. And 8 days later, we won by 8, 74-66. It was awesome.
Marcus went out for 33. Can't forget
Yeah,
that.
yeah, he had a great day. We rushed the court, then we rushed Franklin, and like I said, the week earlier we had a couple snow days out of it. I mean, it was just an all around awesome time. So that one, and I think I have a really good picture of me and Hannah at that one. So I might have to bring that up some point so everybody can see what we looked
Oh,
like when we were 19 years old and skinny.
man, that's fun. That's fun. My number two, uh, I here we go. Uh,
Oh, you did share the screen. Look at that.
yeah. So that is a
Dang,
special.
you had a little less gray in the beard there.
Is it still showing
Yeah, yeah, it's still showing.
with Roy?
Yeah,
So uh Carolina gets the draw. This is 2022. And some people even said, should we even be in the tournament? And they put us in Fort Worth with Baylor, and but we first had to play Marquette, which looked like it was going to be a tough game. We blew Marquette out of the building, and so I was sitting before the Marquette game. Um, I drove from Houston to Fort Worth, and I was living in Houston at the time and had to go. And so Baylor, the number one seed, was hosting, or they were playing. It's essentially a home game. Uh, yeah, Baylor had two home games that weekend, and so they were playing Norfolk State, and their fans, the Baylor fans, were so nice. They were very, very kind and friendly, um, and I was enjoying talking to them. And then Saturday comes around, and well, they were a little different on Saturday. Um, it was like a Baptist homecoming, except none of them were friendly that day. And they, man, they were so mad. They were talking about trash about Baycott and how he was playing. Well, I don't know if you remember Jeremy Sohan. I think he plays for the San Antonio Spurs now. He might have been one of the dirtiest players I've ever seen. But got Brady Manick ejected, and
that was garbage.
they
That
called
was so garbage. They should have been blown out of the building.
they called a flagrant two. And that was the turning point in the game. And when he went out, because I think he had 26 points, I mean, he let Baylor up. And yeah, RJ had a day too. RJ had 30. And so Baylor comes back. I think they were down by close to 20 points, and they came back and they took it into overtime. And Dontrez Styles hit the shot of his life. Uh, so that's one thing Carolina fans can be thankful for before he decided to sell his soul and go play for NC State his senior year. And but we somehow pulled it out 93 to 86 and advanced on our way to that was next round was the Sweet 16 um, where we beat UCLA and then St. Peter's, and then everybody knows what went down in New Orleans.
Yeah,
Close
yeah.
buried Coach K, and I mean but yeah, that was one of the most fun games I've ever been to, and I thought I was gonna have to fight some big bad Baptists out there for the Baylor fans. All right, give us your
Uh,
number one, Zach.
re- Real quick, fun fact about that Baylor game. I was playing in a golf tournament, and I had the phone in the cart watching the game in between shots. And let's just say I was very unprofessional in my attitude on the golf course that day as I was watching that Baylor game.
I think there's plenty of grace. Uh,
My number one. All right, I'm gonna count this. This counts, okay? Even though I wasn't actually at the game, unlike our friend again, Nick Morris. But I
we're
am
both very
picking UNC versus Duke in the Final Four of 2022 because I was in the Smith Center. Hannah and I got a babysitter. I think it was my mom. To keep at that time we had two. We had Harper and Laurel, so we had two, and we went to the game, or we went to the Smith Center to watch the viewing party. That was just bananas. So we got there, we watched that first game. That was great, and just being in the Smith Center with everybody as we were experiencing that was just absolute pandemonium. Caleb Love with the most amazing shot that we will ever be, forever indebted to him for.
Go
Um,
ahead.
we rushed the court, even though there was no team there, rushed the court, and then we rushed Franklin. That night was amazing. Unfortunately, not a top moment. I got the norovirus, and shout out to Cam Hummel, our friend Cam Hummel, who let me stay in his house that night because I absolutely destroyed his bathroom And then the way home, poor Hannah had to drive on the way home, and every 20 minutes stop on the side of the road. People thought that was like COVID time. People thought COVID was bad. Like norovirus is the worst thing I've ever experienced in my life. And for 72 hours, it was just absolutely brutal. But I was like, it was so worth it because of beating Duke. It was incredible. And also shout out to our friend Tyler again. His wife had just given birth and she was over at UNC Hospital. And he was like, "Can I go watch the game?" And she said, "Well, what's the point of you stressing me out here with this newborn baby? Go over there to the Smith Center." So he had just had his second baby, and he walked down to the Smith Center to watch the game with us while his wife was recovering in the hospital because she didn't want all of his stress and anxiety in the room with her.
Gosh.
So I'm counting that one, even though the game wasn't happening in front of us. I was still in the Smith Center.
Speaking of beating Duke, my senior year, here's my number one. You can see me.
Yeah.
I've got the cursor. If you look, it's like Where's Waldo?
That's awesome.
Yeah, I did like a Joker themed, like paint my face white, put some Carolina blue. So yeah, it was wild, man. I think Nolan Smith got yelled at a little bit that day, but we beat Duke 81 to 67. Um, I mean, it was a great game. I remember I was an intern for Inside Carolina. I was their very first intern, I believe. They've soon brought in much better talent, but that's one of my claims to fame. Uh, and I remember that going into I think it was Friday to interview the players, and Dexter Strickland guaranteed to me that they were going to beat Duke, and um, I got to go watch the game as a senior student, which was so much fun. And just, I think I had phase one tickets too. So that was,
That's awesome. And
yeah.
Dexter, that was the game that Strickland threw down a huge dunk. Well, it's
Oh
not
man.
his
Yeah.
name's not Dexter Strickland anymore.
Baden Jackson.
Ben
Uh,
Jackson, yeah.
yeah.
But he threw down that huge dunk on Singler, right?
There are multiple baptisms that took place.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh, and just we played so well, so well. We won the ACC regular season title. Did you know that that team only had, especially when Larry Drew left the program?
Larry Drew.
We started the season 4-3 that year, and we only had 8 scholarship players, and we turned it around, won the ACC regular season championship, and made it to the Elite Eight. So talk about just a really impressive turnaround that year. Great coaching job by Roy, and just a really fun memory to as a senior at Carolina for me. Um, Predictions. I know we need to wrap up soon. I gotta take a puppy outside to for her to do her business.
A literal dog, just to be clear. Not
Yeah,
that's not a euphemism.
yeah, yeah. So yeah, I've got
You
pictures and
never know with Ben.
I've got receipts too. Those vet bills, man. Whew. Um, I've got us, Zach, uh, going 29-7, 15-3 in the ACC. Second place finish in the ACC regular season, making it to the semifinal round of the ACC tournament, going to the Sweet 16, and Hubert keeps his job. What are your predictions?
Hubert keeps his job. Yeah, that's good. Real quick on that. Love Hubert as a person, great leader, godly man. I want him to succeed, but he needs to succeed. Like he needs to win games, right? That's what it comes down to. So
Yeah.
I think this season
It's
is
a
more about the coaching staff than the players. Sorry, go ahead.
it's a results-driven business.
Yeah, yeah. Um, so I've got little feet knocking at the door here now. I'm going 30-6, 14-4 in the ACC, though. I think the ACC will be a little tougher this year. I think it's going to be tough to play State. It's going to be tough to play at UVA or so at State, at UVA. No home games against either of those two teams. Duke's always tough. I'm going third in the ACC, just like they predict. We will lose one we're not supposed to lose, which is unfortunate, but hopefully we win a few more that yeah. And then Natty or bust. That's the Carolina way. National championship or bust. But I do think Hubert keeps his job. And I'm excited. We play BYU on Friday night. 9 p.m. on ESPN Plus. Uh,
AJ Batista, that Mormon money, man. Got
yeah, yeah. Their number BYU, I think, is number 8 in the country preseason. Although they just lost their first scrimmage. But don't put too much weight into the scrimmage on Friday because I'm
no.
sure we'll do some things that are different than
And that's a great opportunity. You can experiment with lineups. You can try so many different things. So I think you're right. But
yeah.
yeah,
And real quick though, too, shout out. I don't know if this is true, but it sounded like it's true. Shout out to Jones Angel. He's going to go to Salt Lake City, do that game at like the radio for that game, and then fly back through the night to do the noon kick against UVA. I think I
wow.
heard that, and I was like, "What?" He was talking about it on their pod earlier this week that they were joking about leaving him out in California for the week, and he was like, "No, seriously, they should have." And so that's where I was like, "No, I really think they're going to fly him out there." That game is at 9 hour time, which is what are they 2 or 3 hours behind in Salt Lake City?
Mm.
And so he's going to get done at like
Wow.
2 a.m. 2 a.m. their time, and then fly back to do the noon, which he has to go on air at 11 a.m. on Saturday for the football game. How crazy is that?
Mm.
So
Mm.
the grind, the
Yeah.
grind.
Well, we better wrap up. It sounds like your little ones are ready
Yeah, can you hear them through the door?
on the door.
They're
Uh,
knocking on the door. They said, "Daddy, please."
oh, well, we want to thank everyone for joining us for another episode and for the preview of Carolina basketball. And we hope you join us again later this week for the preview of the UVA game and a recap of our close one against Cal. But we're going to preview the South's oldest rivalry when the Cavaliers or the Wahoos, whatever you want to call them, come to Chapel Hill. So. Carolina beat Virginia, and we'll
That's
see you
right.
later this week on.
It'll be like a rabid mongoose on Friday.
I'm
So
telling you,
gear up.
yeah, yeah. We better get you on a chain or something. But we'll see y'all soon for another episode of Keenan Concourse Convos. Thank you.
Go Heels.
Go Heels.